What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Odin back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the box office for this weekend. And this weekend is all about Alita Battle Angel and just all of the absolute shillery and asshattery and just, oh my gosh. Everything that everyone in the media has been saying about Alita Battle Angel, not only is it just incorrect because it's an amazing film, but also everything that they've been saying about the box office and that it's going to be the first flop, it's going to lose $200 million, is just a very interesting story that they're telling for a film that ends up not really matching up to the expectations that they had for it. So as you see, for the weekend gross, Alita Battle Angel came in at number 1 with $27.8 million. Second place to that was The Lego Movie 2 with $21.2 million. Isn't it romantic? Because everyone wants to see that movie, came in with $14.2 million. What Men Want with $10.9, and Happy Death Day 2, which is indeed a new release, came in with $9.8. Good Lord, how in the heck is that movie being made as a sequel? I still don't quite understand because I never saw the first one. However, when you make it for a budget of $9 million, well then yeah, you're probably going to make a little bit of profit off of it because people are going to go see it no matter what because people are stupid. But anyway, let us talk about Alita Battle Angel. So if you've been following the news, you've been following all the reports, you would say, oh, you know, the weekend box office, Alita beats expectations, but still falls very short. Like, that is the new narrative. Beforehand, it was just all, you know, doom and gloom. It's like, oh, this movie's not going to make any money. Oh, it's going to be a total, you know, botch. It's going to be a huge box office bomb. And oh man, well, at least Captain Marvel's coming out. Like, seriously, these were the articles that were being posted. And so now that it's doing better than they expected, now they're coming out saying, oh, Alita beats expectations, but still falls very short. Okay. What's interesting here is that they love to talk about box office numbers and say, not exactly, the film cost $170 million to produce, and that's before marketing expenses. It's going to need to at least to make $500 million to break even. Well, you know, sorry. Just to fact check you really quick, the actual number it needs to make to officially break even is $430 million. Yeah, that's right. I don't care what your sources are trying to say, because if you go just based on box office standards alone, the film cost $170, meaning that the overall, you know, the overall cost for marketing was $85 million, meaning that it cost a little bit over $230 million plus or so to actually make the film and market the film, meaning that if it makes $430 million, it breaks even because it only gets 60% of those box office receipts when everything is said and done. So yeah, $500 million, yeah, good luck with that. It's interesting how they'll try and, you know, expand the numbers for this, and they'll try and, you know, flip the numbers around and make it seem like really, really bad. But where was this for Solo? You know, they're still, to this day, they are still claiming that Solo only lost like $40 to $80 million. It didn't lose that much money. Well, when you actually do the actual math on it, it's like closer to $200 million that it lost. And even if it hadn't, you know, had the reshoots, it still would have lost money. They don't want to talk about that. It's interesting that they'll, you know, protect those kind of films, or protect the films that they need to. But when it comes to Alita Battle Angel, oh, you know, who do we owe this to? You know, oh, I don't care who released the film. Oh, this is not going to hurt us if we attack it, if we say that it was a bad movie, if we, you know, say that, oh, it's not living up to expectations. What's interesting about all this, too, is that all of these asshats, including, of course, the king of asshats, at least when it comes to the box office numbers, Scott Mendelson, is that they stay rooted in the domestic totals. They only care about and think about domestic, saying, oh, look, it is not living up to it. $42 million. I mean, it cost $170. And if it's only going to make $42 million in the United States, that is awful. Well, yeah. If there was only a release in the United States, you would be correct. However, this film is not only doing extremely well overseas, but it also hasn't even opened in Japan and China, which are guaranteed to be the biggest box office successes for this film in the foreign market. So you're looking at a film that I predict by next weekend will very much be on the way to breaking even, if not making a profit. And I'm praying that this film makes a profit, because if this film makes a profit, they're going to make a sequel. And I think, if, you know, in the world of sequels that we live in today, of really crappy sequels, this is one that I would actually be excited to see, because they did such a great job with this movie. So actually, let's go into these box office numbers. So remember how they were like, oh yeah, well, it only made, you know, $42 million, only made $36.5 million for the actual weekend. $42 million was when you count in the Thursday and Wednesday previews, but interestingly enough, every single one of them not mentioning the fact that at this point it's made $94.3 million overseas, and this is without a China or Japan release, and also it's only been released in certain markets, meaning that the total worldwide total for Alita Battle Angel as of today is $130 million. Now keep this in mind, next weekend, China and Japan, I guarantee you that we're going to see at the very least $100 million in total from Japan and China combined. Now, of course, that's a very low end estimate because I think it's going to be closer to $200+ million from both markets combined together by the end of its run, which means that this film is definitely going to break even and make a profit. But let's say that it doesn't succeed as well. Let's say it only makes around $50 million in China. It only makes about $50 million in Japan, which again, at least for Japan, at least for the China's numbers, like the $50 million, I mean, I do not in any way think that it's only going to make that much money. I think it's going to make a huge amount of money in China. But let's just say that. Okay, so you add in that $100 million plus whatever it is that's going to make from the rest of the countries that it's also opening in. Let's say $150 million. Very, very low end. It's not going to make that. It's going to make a lot more than that. But let's say that. Okay, so therefore the total worldwide total, when you add in the domestic cost, which is likely going to drop around 50%, is like about the normal drop that you normally see. However, I think word of mouth might actually keep that drop a little bit smaller. That would be nice. That would be really cool to see. And so therefore, let us assume then $170 million total for next weekend when you add in all the numbers. All right, well then that would put this movie at $300 million. And the rule of thumb is that movies, big budget films, make 60% of their entire gross within the first 2 weeks. And so therefore, if indeed the total gross is $300 million, and if that is indeed 60% of the total that this film will end up making, well then at that point it's going to make another $200 million at least, putting this film into indeed territory where it not only breaks even, but also makes a few million in profit as well. Now, again, that is on the low end. That is on the low scale, meaning that this film could very easily, at this point, go into the $500, $600, $700 million range if indeed it performs in those markets that I was just talking about. Now, am I saying that it's going to make huge amounts of money and it's going to break records, etc.? I'm not saying that necessarily. But what I am saying is that anyone that's going to be like, oh, well, the domestic total, and this is the entire narrative that they've been giving us. Oh, the domestic total for this movie is not even going to break $100 million. That does not mean a damn thing if it is making up for that loss overseas. If you see a $400 or $500 million foreign gross, which is very likely for this film, well then yeah, that $90-80 million total that it makes in the United States doesn't look that great, but if you add it all together, guess what you get? You get something that is indeed profitable and is indeed going to merit a sequel. And I want this movie to get a sequel. The fact that I love the CGI in this film, you guys know, I'm such a stickler for CGI. I crapped all over Aquaman. I crapped over almost every single major release that has CGI recently. I've just crapped all over it. The CGI in this film is fantastic. I saw this movie in 3D. I hate 3D with a fiery passion. I'm with Jeremy on this one. I think that 3D should die. I think that IMAX, if there's going to be any format that's going to be like the new way of going and doing things, I think IMAX, I think higher quality cameras and everything, that is the future, not 3D. But seeing this movie in 3D, I saw it in Dolby 3D. It was beautiful. It made the movie look so much better, and it really did, I think, add depth to the film, and I loved it. I absolutely love this movie. I'm defending this movie so much. I gave it an A- in my official review on my channel, and to me, this is the film that needs to get attention, because this is a film that features a female heroine without any SJW identity politics. And of course, I think everyone, rightly so, is putting this up against Captain Marvel, because you see a tale of two very different heroines. On the one hand, you see Alita, who needs to rely on others, who needs to rely on the help of white men. Oh my gosh, I know, among other people as well, from all various backgrounds and genders. But she needs to rely on them. She is not a Mary Sue. At one point, she gets totally just destroyed. Again, I'm not really spoiling anything because, you know, in a hero's journey, you know, in a good hero's journey, when they're not a Mary Sue character, you're going to have a point where you're going to fall apart. Well, she's a cyborg. You know, that's obvious by the very fact that we see her as a cyborg. So at one point, she gets like torn to pieces and has to be rebuilt again. And so you see that, you know, that building of the character. You see that she indeed is not OP. She indeed has faults. She indeed is not perfect, but she is still strong. She is still a cyborg. And also, you fall in love with the character because she's so naive. She has this innocence about her where you're like, God, like, I just love everything about you. And also, because she's a cyborg, guess what? You don't really have to worry about any type of sexual tension or weird. You know, some people have been, you know, claiming that, oh, it's a young adult story too because you have the romance. You have the romance, but what I love about it is that it's so innocent. Like, there's no sex because there really can't be. You know, tell that to John Kasdan when he said, "Oh, Solo, well, L337, you know, she had the stuff to make it work with, you know, Lando Calrissian because he's a pansexual." It's like, keep that stuff in mind and then take it over here where you have a great story, great character development, beautiful effects, beautiful, well-done 3D, which is something that's very rare in Hollywood these days, and you have a movie, therefore, that really should be making bank. But what do they want to support instead? Oh, yeah, that's right. They want to support Captain Marvel. They want to support a character that is based off of a character that's only been around in comics for about 4 or 5 years when you take a look at the fact that the Captain Marvel SJW version of Carol Danvers has only been around since 2012. And you can go do your own, you can do your own research on that. I did a video on my channel where I broke down and went into the very, very rich history of Carol Danvers and the Miss Marvel and when she became Captain Marvel and who was Captain Marvel before her. Interestingly enough, Monica Rambeau. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, if you would have thought that Hollywood would have gone with anyone for that movie, you would have thought they would have gone with that version from the 1980s, but apparently not woke enough for them. But it's interesting to see that they are tearing this movie apart. They're giving it terrible ratings. It's got like a 60% less on Rotten Tomatoes. The top critics gave it like 33, like only 33% of top critics like the film. The audience rating, 92, 93%. A- cinema score. This is a film that audiences love, but the critics hate. And what's becoming more and more apparent in Hollywood these days is that if a film is critically hated and critically panned, it very likely has a good chance of being good, of being entertaining. What's great about this is not only is it entertaining, not only is it a fun ride, it's also a damn good movie. As anyone that's a fan of anime or manga will tell you, just because I speak to them and they say, this is the best adaptation of anime or manga they have ever seen on the big screen. And being someone who is not deeply, researched, not well read in manga or anime, I can't really speak from that. But the fact that they're saying that, and just as a movie fan, I can see it and say, no, this is just a great movie with a great story. It almost makes me want to read the manga, even though that's not really my way of, I don't like reading in general. Even if there's pictures, even if there's other things like that, I like it being shown in a movie format. I love the movies. I love it so much. And this movie really does match that up very well. So yes, continue to read all these bullcrap articles saying, oh yeah, well, it doesn't live up to the expectations. It's still gonna fall. It's not gonna break even. It's still gonna lose money. And oh yeah, it's not gonna make money in the domestic market. Okay, yeah, sure. By domestic market standards, it's not going to meet and reach up to the levels and heights of other films that have come before that. But that does not mean that this film is not going to produce overseas, because when you break this down, $94.3 million just from this weekend alone in the foreign market, and that is not including, as you see, there are no totals yet. There are no totals yet for China or Japan. Japan, this film is going to make money. China, I think this movie is going to make well north of $150 million. And if that happens, if China indeed produces, then what you're going to see here is a film that everyone wrote off, that everyone's going to say, oh, well, look, might actually break even for once. But I think I could have told you this much because, yes, Americans aren't really fans of this kind of storytelling. Yes, Americans are going to be turned off by the giant eyes and everything. I was even turned off by that at first. And then all of a sudden I started to hear from SC Reviews and so many other people saying, guys, it's a really good movie. Go see it. I had a lot of my own subscribers saying, no, seriously, Odin, you need to go see this movie. And so I listened to them. I saw it. I saw it in Dolby in 3D, and I loved it. All of these factors that normally would be disqualifying for me to like a movie, I still loved it. It's still great. So I'm all on board the Alita Battle Angel train. Go see it this weekend if you can. If this video goes live early enough, go watch it. Show all of these freaking media shills that this is the movie. This is the way that a woman is represented on screen. This is the way that you show a heroine, not by bringing in some SJW stupid idiot. That's right, all my Jericho fans out there, named Brie Larson into the Captain Marvel universe. That is not heroism. Again, that is identity politics. That is a political agenda. That is her activism, as she has said, on display. And we don't want that. Alita Battle Angel, we like that. It's interesting, though, they're going to call me sexist. They're going to call all of us sexist if we, once we crap over our Captain Marvel, if it is indeed a bad movie. Because, again, the movie hasn't even come out yet. I'm still going to go see it. I'm going to let you guys know, hey, is it woke or not? But just based on Brie Larson, based on the source material, based on everything that we know about the movie, including the marketing campaign, it seems like it's going to go in that direction, at least for part of it. And so when we come out, and we come out even a little bit negative, and if the box office continues to drop, as it has been, Jeremy's doing a great job on this channel covering how the box office has changed from $160, $180 million to 80 to 120. If it indeed falls into that mindset, if it indeed falls into that numbers and then it underperforms, I guarantee you the number one narrative is either going to be complete ignorance and say, oh no, it's still going to be successful, it's still going to make money, and oh, no, Alita Battle Angel, they're going to lose money, but even though Alita Battle Angel likely is going to make profit and make several $1 million in profit on top of that, Captain Marvel might barely break even, maybe like a little bit of profit. It's an MCU film. It's going to make money. Like the generic audience is still going to go support that film because they don't care about any of this behind-the-scenes stuff. But when it comes to the hardcore fans, as we've said constantly before with Star Wars, again, the hardcore fans are what make up the vast majority of profits for any property. So the hardcore MCU fans out there who are going to sit home, who are going to do like I do and buy a ticket to something else. In fact, you know what? I'm praying that Alita Battle Angel is still in theaters in the United States on March 8th because I would love to buy my ticket to Alita Battle Angel, give my money there, and then go see Captain Marvel. So that way I can at least come in and be like, hey, I saw the movie. Again, it didn't get my money, but anyway. And I'm obviously I'm going to do that unofficially. And I'm unofficially going to do that because, that would be bad, of course. But anyway, $94.3 million. This film is going to do well. Again, don't let this number deceive you. 130 million, it was made for 170 million, so that should tell you all that you need to know, especially since Japan and China have not come in. Yes, this foreign domestic split is going to be insane, especially if this comes in for $500 million, which I suspect it very well might, and the domestic total only ends up being around $90 million. I mean, the split's going to be huge, but it's still going to mean that it makes money. Going to some other movies just to wrap things up for this weekend. Lego Movie 2 is just, yeah, this one's done. This one is not going to make any money. I mean, it's already at $97.3 million. Keep in mind, the first film made closer to $400 million. Batman made, closer to $300 million. And this one barely will be at $150. I predict that this film is going to crap out at around $150 million. And that is really, really sad. And to be honest, I think it's because they gave us way too many films. And people will say, oh, well, how is this how is this fatigue, but everything else isn't? Well, the reason why is because this is a very particular type of film. This is a very specific type of animation that is not what everyone likes. I personally hated the first Lego movie. I loved Lego Batman. Didn't even see Ninjago because that one should have gone straight to DVD. And now it looks like they have indeed really owned up to being a straight to DVD, straight to Blu-ray service, because I think that it would probably end up being a better move for them overall. Really sad to see that, that Lord and Miller, even though they're just writers here, they didn't direct the film. It's sad to see that they're not making as much money, so that way we can shove it in their face, for having them fired from Solo. But at the end of the day, I blame just the overall product of what it is and what it's trying to do, and just the sequel territory that we're in. And 2019 in general has been a very abysmal box office, at least from the United States' perspective. Isn't it romantic? I mean, yeah, everyone wants to see Rebel Wilson in a rom-com, right? Right? $20 million. It's going to be profitable because they made it for nothing, but still, yeah, I would skip it. Happy Death Day 2, for some reason they made a sequel, but it's already made $25.3 million, and the production budget was $9 million, and so therefore, at this point, it's actually already profitable. It's not going to make much more than that. It's not going to make over $100 million, but still, anything it makes from this point is going to be money. What Men Want, yes, the movie that no one else wanted, only has made $38 million so far. So even this film is going to barely break even, maybe make a small profit, and yet I guarantee you they're going to be like, oh, look, it's profitable. It means that these gender swap movies can work. Yeah, sure. Good luck with that. And Aquaman, $1.13 million. I really wish that this film was still making money. Unfortunately, China does indeed have a stipulation where they only allow a film out for a certain amount of time. They actually gave this film an extension because it was doing so well. Unfortunately, that extension has ended, and so it crapped out around, just under $300 million in China, which is still very good. And obviously, it's almost at $800 million in the foreign market, and there's definitely some markets that it has not counted for yet. So we're going to get more numbers on this later on in the day as the days progress, as those numbers come in. So we very well could see this film ending around 1.2. Unfortunately, though, it's not going to, as I first thought it had the potential because it was making so much money. I really was hoping that it would, beat A Last Jedi, beat a, Black Panther. But unfortunately, that looks like it is not the case. But anyway, guys, have you seen any of the movies that came out this weekend? I mean, Alita, Isn't It Romantic, Happy Death Day 2. Something tells me that most of you on this channel, if you saw any of those movies, it would likely be Alita Battle Angel. What are your thoughts on Alita Battle Angel? Seriously, let me know your thoughts. And also, if you have not seen it, this is coming from the heart, go support this film. Seriously. I mean, I'm not the biggest James Cameron fan. I hate Avatar. Let me just, as a frame of reference, I thought Avatar sucked. This movie was great because at the end of the day, he was not a major part of this production. Obviously, he wanted to bring this to life, but he ended up not having time because he spent way too much time in the freaking Avatar universe. And we're going to get, oh my God, so many freaking Avatar sequels till the end of time. But this is not that. This actually has good story. This actually has great character development. This actually has beautiful, absolutely beautiful and stunning animation, motion capture. The fact that this actress is able to reach your heart and pull at your heartstrings through a motion capture CGI'd face and giant eyes should be all that you need to hear about why you should go support this film, especially if you live in the United States, because this film is not going to get a lot of love from American audiences. Go out there and support it if you can financially. See it in Dolby, see it in IMAX. Again, one of my Valkyries, Tina, saw it in IMAX 3D and loved it, freaking loved it. Thought it looked so crisp, so clear. Steph, my other Valkyrie, she saw it in a regular showing and also loved it. And of course, I saw it in Dolby 3D, so we got everything covered. All of us loved it. All of us thought it looked great. Go see it, guys. But anyway, that's going to be it for me. Please let me know if you like this video. Smash that like button. Give us a sub. Also, go check me out on the Odin's Movie Blog channel. I'm going to be doing a box office breakdown of my official prediction for what I think Captain Marvel is going to make. I'm still crunching some numbers there, trying to look at the historical numbers and everything. I'm not going to be like these people saying, oh, well, the pre-sales are doing this. Okay, pre-sales tell you one story, but history tells you a much better and much more accurate story, I would say. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.